Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Starlight Beacon Transmissions Live. This is episode 86. My name is Eric Mitchell. I am your host, and we have a great show for you tonight. I am joined by my good friend, Allie Andrews from the Knights of Ren podcast. It's been a while since we've had you on.
Pretty much a
I,
year, yeah.
yeah. I think the last time was Book of Boba Fett, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. I don't I don't really want to go back to that one.
Oh no.
No, not you. I meant just the Book of Boba Fett.
Fair,
No,
yeah.
it's fine. No, it was actually a fun show.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's great. I see that you are slowly getting back into podcasting again
Trying.
and trying. Yeah.
Trying.
Yeah. I hope that you also had a great holiday season, and I hope that. Well, didn't you graduate school?
No, I'm still in school, but I am
Okay.
at the point of my senior year where I have more free time, so that's why I'm able to do more stuff like this again all of a sudden.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we missed having you around. It's great to have you back, and we have a fun show. We're going to be talking about some Star Wars news. I'm also going to share some thoughts on the Disney 100 exhibit, if you guys didn't listen to those thoughts earlier this week. And then we are also going to talk about a little TV show that came out this past week called The Cookbook of Captain Rex. Um, oh, wait, The Mandalorian. Yes. People are like, what channel is that on? Like, I mean, I would watch a Captain Rex cooking show.
Yeah, would be interesting.
Yeah, it would. It would. Um, Allie, like I said, it's great to have you here. I have no announcements this week, which is weird. And yeah, so we went to Philadelphia last week. That's why there wasn't a live show. And we actually went to the Franklin Institute where the Disney 100 exhibit was going on. And I hope that you don't mind. I just want to share
Yeah,
a
go
few
ahead.
thoughts and about
Yeah.
the trip. And well, that trip started with going to Gino's for cheesesteaks. So that was and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Yeah. And then when we went to a hockey game later that Friday night, which was a lot of fun. And then Saturday we went to the Franklin Institute for the exhibit. And I got to tell you, this exhibit is it's incredible. Um, for it, I think of it as like a little touch of Disney for those that can't go to the parks for a while, or haven't been in the parks for a while, or you know uh can't afford to go to the parks
Mhm.
as well, because let's face it, Disney's pretty expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're greeted by this video, and it's a hologram, and it's Mickey in his sorcerer's outfit from Fantasia, and he does like this little pixie dust thing, and then you see a hologram of Walt that was created by Imagineering and AI. And it kind of sounded like Walt, but not really sounding like Walt, but it looked like Walt. It was weird, but it was cool at the same
Yeah.
time. Um, and then like that was like the most crowded part, like getting in there, right? And then
Mhm.
you walk through, and then it shows you like the early history of the company, and like you see Oswald the Rabbit and Mickey Mouse, and then it goes into like the more recent stuff that we've seen, right? And
Mhm.
they had this one section that was all of like their adventure stuff. So they had Jack Sparrow's compass, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
They had they had the book from National Treasure 2, which
Interesting.
yeah, which I was thinking to myself, okay, like this is cool. Like this is really cool. However, huh?
Yeah, a little random. Yeah.
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 They had Emily Blunt's character's costume from the Jungle Cruise.
Mm, mhm.
And then like you've been on the Jungle Cruise, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So they actually had a boat model from the original Jungle Cruise,
Mm,
like one of like when they were trying to map out the attraction.
mhm.
They had like a miniature model. And then they
Cool.
had like this giant Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. They had the two storybooks, one from Sleeping Beauty, one from Snow White.
Mhm,
They had the glass slipper from Cinderella.
mhm.
I know yeah, it's a
A
lot.
lot of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They had some Star Wars stuff. They had Han Solo's dice.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, which was really cool. They had a life-size BB-8.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yay.
It was in a display case though, like so you couldn't
Oh,
touch
and so
it.
not rolling around.
Yeah, I was like, I want to touch this
Unfortunate.
BB-8. Like,
Yes.
uh, then they had a First Order stormtrooper costume.
Mhm,
They had the reforged Skywalker saber that Rey has in
mhm.
Rise of Skywalker. And excuse me, then they had the ancient Jedi texts.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And I'm getting to the best part of the Star Wars exhibit here. Life-size Porg.
Life size? Like, oh my gosh, that's so
Yes.
cool.
Yes. It was so cool. And it's really freaking fluffy too.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. I wanted it to move, but it was just the prop, but it was still pretty cool.
Still cool, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then they had some Marvel stuff, like they had Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther costume.
Mhm.
They had some helmets, which the coolest helmet I saw was the Ajax helmet from Eternals.
Mhm.
And then they also had Cap's shield
Oh, nice, nice.
from Civil War,
Uh-huh.
which was cool. Then you go into like this music section, and the one clip that was playing as we were going in the music section was the Marshall's song from season 2 of The Mandalorian. And like they showed the clip of it like on this giant screen, and I was just thinking to myself, yeah, this is fitting because we get Mando this week.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So like they have it split up into like two different levels.
Mm,
So like we walked up to the other level, and then that's when we saw more of like the theme park stuff.
mhm,
So they had one of the sleds from Matterhorn bobsleds,
mhm,
which I've never been to Disneyland, but I have seen that ride, and I hear that
mhm.
ride is very painful to ride.
It is. I can attest to that, yes, it is.
I hear you get rattled around quite a bit in that ride.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they also had the ride vehicle from Peter Pan's Flight,
Mhm.
which was cool.
Nice.
But as you're going through the exhibit, they make it look like Main Street USA.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, and um like the light turns dark like as you're going through it
Oh,
to
wow.
simulate a day at Disney World or
Oh,
Disneyland.
yeah, 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 that's so cool. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And then like they had this model of Cinderella's castle, and like when it turned night, they did a fireworks projection behind it.
Dang. Wow.
Yeah, which was cool.
Yeah.
And then like you're walking through, and then like they showed they showed some stuff from like High School Musical, like they had a couple of props from there.
Mm.
Which that was after my time as a Disney Channel kid.
Whereas I was like a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
However, I am watching more Disney Channel now because of Bluey, which I don't
Oh,
know why I'm addicted to Bluey, but
aren't we all?
it's
Like,
so good. So good. And then they actually had a tribute to Home Improvement with a Binford Tools like paint thinning can.
okay then.
Well, because Home Improvement aired on ABC.
Oh, that makes
Yeah.
sense, I guess then.
Yeah. So then like after that, like there was like this whole like soundtrack thing like that you could like look at. And then of course they had a gift shop.
Of course.
Yeah, it
Capitalism.
wouldn't be a Disney thing without a gift shop. So I picked up this Disney 100 hat.
Nice.
Yeah, it's got Mickey on it. I picked up a T-shirt,
Nice.
and then
Yeah.
you can see Mickey there.
Uh,
And then I picked up, because I don't have enough books to read right now. I picked up this one about Walt.
oh, nice.
Yeah, which I'm really looking forward to checking out. And then I'm trying not to like tip any of my stuff over.
Mhm.
And then, did you watch the Imagineering story?
I've seen like half of them. I haven't seen all of them.
I got the book.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Hey,
Yeah.
Farm Boy. It is 700 pages long.
700. Oh my god. Yeah,
Yes.
you're set reading wise. My
Oh,
goodness
yeah.
gracious.
Yeah. I'm just like, yeah. Yeah, I just opened it and I turned to 695. Yeah, I'm 720 here. Holy crap. 730-page book about Imagineering.
Mhm.
I was just like, you know what? All right, you know, whatever. It's cool. And then, of course, we saw that there was a Disney outlet in Lancaster, in Amish
Mm,
country. So I picked up a few things there, including
yes.
Buzz Lightyear hat.
Nice.
Yes. And then I got a Buzz Lightyear water bottle too. I got a Life Day tumbler.
Mm, nice.
Yes. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I feel like I'm bragging.
Clearly,
Um,
no, I'm joking. We all get to go to our own experiences. It's all good. Like,
yeah.
I feel the same way when I tell people about Celebration last year. I'm like, I feel like I'm rubbing it in your face. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Uh, I got a Life Day hat.
Nice. Yeah.
Yes. And the final thing, I got this really cool Buzz Lightyear
Nice.
figure. Yeah. And it comes with socks.
It comes with socks? Okay, then.
Yeah, right there.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, not bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, my thoughts on it. It is such a great exhibit. If you guys can go, do it. It's in Philly until August, and then it goes to Chicago, and then I think it does a West Coast tour
Oh, nice.
after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. And if you're a Disney fan, do it because it's fun. And of course, you put more money in the mouse's pocket, but it is what it is. So
Exactly.
yeah. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that.
Nice.
Let's see here. Anything that you've been up to Star Wars wise?
Star Wars wise, not really recently. I mean, I've obviously been keeping up with the shows, to the best of my abilities being in school.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't I dear goodness gracious, I miss staying up till midnight and watching stuff when it drops. I can't do it because I have an 8 AM class the next day now, which it's not ideal to stay up till midnight and then have to get up at like 6 AM. So yeah, no.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm still been keeping up with the shows. Trying to see if I can podcast about stuff. Like I said, I said this when I came on Andrew's podcast last month, but it's mostly the editing. Like the
Yeah.
recording, I have time. The editing, not really, because I'm a perfectionist and I cannot live with putting out half-ass content. So yeah, it's figuring it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I have to ask, because we're starting to get into our news now, and
Mhm.
and like the first topic is they're announcing guests. They announced more guests for Celebration London. Are you going, or like the rest of us, are you just staying at home?
I'm staying at home, and apparently, based on those rumors, not being able to see anything because they might not have a live stream, and I'm depressed.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
I can't afford Europe. I'm still a college student, and it's also still during school. Like, I literally last year had to do, like, Zoom meetings in the convention center, and I don't think I really wanna do that again this year, so
I don't blame you there.
no. No.
No.
No.
We are there's a few of us planning an at-home celebration. Like we're gonna do like coverage since apparently, like you said, we're not getting a live stream.
Apparently.
But remember, they didn't announce a live stream until like a month before the convention.
I
So
know, but
we're
there was
in
that,
that
like,
window.
that shady thing that went, or I'm not shady. I trust people on the internet somewhat, but, like, there was that thing that apparently someone emailed customer service and they said there wasn't gonna be one, so the customer
Uh,
service has been wrong before and stupid before. Believe me, I dealt with them a ton last year and they were stupid. So, who knows? Maybe there still will be one. We don't know yet.
well, you're not going to celebration anytime soon.
Yeah, no, there's some stuff that's happened with Celebration lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would love to go, but number one, it's so expensive. Number two,
Mhm.
I don't want to fly to Europe.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't want to fly 6 hours to Europe for celebration.
Oh, that's
Um,
another thing, the time difference too with school. Oh, no, I couldn't do that. No, 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 yeah, no.
yeah, it's bad enough juggling like multiple time zones just here in the
Yeah,
States.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about celebration because they announced some more guests here. Looks like we have Michelle Ang, the voice of
Mhm.
Omega. And then we have Simon Cassanides, who played Axe Wolves in The Mandalorian.
Mhm.
Of course, we have Warwick Davis.
Of course.
Actually, his whole family's going to be there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then we also have Denise Go, who played Deidre.
Yeah.
How was her name, right? Dedra
Yes.
or Deidre?
Deidre, whatever, however you
Yeah.
wanna pronounce it.
For celebration so far, it's a pretty big lineup. It looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Yeah.
could just keep seeming to announce people, it never ends.
Oh, we
Mm.
also have Carl Weathers.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
Andy Serkis, we touched on that. Ewan McGregor, Ian McDermott. I'd ask Andy Serkis if he could actually swim. Um, yeah, so that's the celebration lineup. I mean, if it was going to be in the States, I would try to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I get it. They want to bring celebration back to Europe.
Mhm.
They want the worldwide fans again, and I
Mhm.
totally get it. But however, it is what it is.
And I think it's very similar to last time. I think one of the last ones before it went on break for a year was, like, at Europe, and so it kinda makes sense where we do the Europe, and then we take a break, and then we come back to, like, here, West Coast, so we'll
Yeah,
see what happens.
I'm thinking it's actually going to be Orlando in
Yeah.
25.
That could very well be the case, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think they want to put it like in a Disney state.
Yeah.
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 But let's see here. We've got an excerpt from the High Republic Cataclysm. If you don't want spoilers, don't read it because this was kind of spoilery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um it kind of upset me a little bit that they chose this excerpt.
That's why I don't even read those because I don't trust them. I don't trust him, yeah.
Yeah. All I'm going to say about this is just read at your own will.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm super excited for Cataclysm. I think it's going to be a great book. But I got to get through Battle Scars first before that hits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Zach, how's it go? Um, yeah, we got to get through Battle Scars first before we get to Cataclysm.
Mhm.
But yeah. So speaking of which, Battle Scars does come out this week. Coming up, it comes out on Tuesday. So go to your local book retailer if you can, or order it off of Amazon. Or if you're at Emerald City Comic Con this weekend, you could go to Sam Maggs's booth and pick up the book there. Damn you, Emerald City Comic Con. There's probably somebody from that con watching right now. Well, they're not being invited as media if they ever want to. No.
Oh no.
Let's see here. Mando Mania Week 1 is happening. I stopped paying attention to Mando Mania after season 2. Let's see here. What is on sale this week? Mando Mania reveals first look at new Mando inspired headphones by Logitech. Ooh.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, they look nice, but Logitech gear is expensive.
Hmm.
Oh God. Oh God, no. You see this, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay. I I love the Mandalorian show. I love this show so much. However,
However,
I am tired of Grogu merchandise.
I agree.
It's really bad when you now have a Grogu Tamagotchi.
Yeah. That's a bit much.
Chat, if you want to weigh in on this, you can. However, we're gonna, you know, put our foot down with this and say no, thank you.
No, thank you.
Uh, we have a "This Is the Way" life planner. That's cool. Oh God, really again? Grogu in Pram Biddy Boomer's Bluetooth speaker. That is a lot of words just to say Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah, that's a bit much. Oh god. Yeah.
Disney Emoji Blitz new events. Oh, okay. So you can now get a Bo-Katan emoji in Disney Emoji Blitz. All right. Well, that happened.
Yeah.
Uh Let's move on here. Marvel is giving us a preview of Santa Staros number 2. I haven't even read number 1 yet. But
Yeah, me neither.
I heard the first issue is pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, and I like the art. The art looks pretty nice. And I
Mhm.
believe it's written by Justina Ireland, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love all of Justina's work
Yeah,
when
same.
it comes to Star Wars, and yeah, she's just an amazing writer. So, I might pick this up in trade once it comes out in trade.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Oh, and our final news topic here. It was kind of a small week for Star Wars news.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was something that overshadowed it. Um, Xbox and Star Wars join forces with the Mandalorian themed bundle. Yes, you can get a Mandalorian and
Oh, yeah, I
Grogu
saw this.
themed Xbox Series X and Series S. So you can enter this contest. Zach, if you want an Xbox Series X or S for free and it's Mandalorian themed, now is your chance to enter this contest. um, Let's see here. It says to celebrate the release of The Mandalorian season 3 with the premiere episode now streaming only on Disney Plus, Xbox has teamed up with Lucasfilm to create new gaming gear modeled after Din Djarin, Grogu, and a massive one-of-the-kind gaming station modeled after Grogu's hovering pram. That was interesting. The dynamic. No, I just didn't know that's what it was called. I just think of it as a basket.
Uh,
But
yeah.
yeah. The dynamic duo at the heart of the first Star Wars live action series has inspired a new pair of Xbox Series X and S consoles and controllers. The Series X features the Mandalorian's sleek Beskar armor, while Grogu's Series S is the perfect companion, painted green with new art featuring the fan favorite Youngling. A matching green controller can be glimpsed snugly swaddled in a special edition hoodie modeled after Grogu's signature oversized jacket. Fans around the world can enter for a chance to win these new gaming consoles and controllers by retweeting the official sweepstakes tweet anytime from March 1st to May 11th. One lucky fan will get the chance to bring home the ultimate gaming station, the Pram XL, modeled after Grogu's hovering pram. The adult sized replica gives gamers an immersive experience complete with the Grogu Series S console and controllers, built in screen for streaming The Mandalorian or playing through other adventures. Massage cushions, cup holders, and a place to store controllers and headsets between sessions. Hey, even Grogu sometimes has to leave the safety and comfort of his floating fortress. To enter for a chance to win, United States-based fans can enter Xbox's Pram XL sweepstakes via Microsoft Rewards from March 16th to May 11th. No purchase necessary. Ends at 8 p.m. May 11th, open only to Xbox supported regions, must be 18 plus to enter. No purchase necessary. Ends May 11th. How are we feeling about this?
uh, it's interesting, that's for sure.
It is.
I do think it's a bit much, but then again, I'm not a gamer, so I
Okay.
don't really feel like I have the credibility to speak on this. So
No, it's fine. I just want to know how you feel about it. That's all.
yeah, um,
You're gonna pass.
yeah, probably.
Okay. Here's my question. Even if you were a gamer, would you pass on this?
Probably, honestly.
Probably. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
like of all the merch, I know it's a contest, but like of all the stuff I could get, I don't think like gaming controllers and stuff is at like the top of my like merch list per se. So even if
I
I
get
was
it.
a gamer, like you said, like I don't need to like flex my cool Grogu remote theme remote or whatever. I don't
You just roommate walks in and you're just sitting there in the pram playing Xbox.
no, just no, 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 no,
No,
no.
no, with a Grogu controller.
I have enough like weird Star Wars stuff all over my apartment. I don't need it. But like no, it's just no. I don't know, man.
No, I get it.
I'm sure people like it. I'm sure there's fans who are gonna go for it, but it's just not my thing. It's not my
Hmm.
thing.
I mean, I already have a Series S anyway,
Yeah.
and it would be cool to have like a Star Wars themed console. Like I think
Yeah.
it would be like really cool. But however, I don't want Grogu on my console.
Exactly. I I like don't get me wrong, like you said, I love Grogu. I literally have like a Grogu blanket back there and stuff. Like
Hmm.
I have Grogu stuff. I'm not against Grogu, but like you said, it's the excess of Grogu that's a
Hmm.
bit much. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Grogu, you can get a Grogu Series S to go with your Grogu Tamagotchi.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
This is a live show, people. This is
Yeah,
what we do.
no, it's fine.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, so uh, I guess we should just dive into the Mando because
Yeah.
this is gonna take a while here.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Yeah.
season 3 just premiered Wednesday. And this is chapter 17, the apostate. So this actually they did a pretty decent job picking this up from where Book of Boba Fett left off.
Yeah. But I will say, I don't know how many people feel this way. I actually that's a lie. I think I saw a few people say this, but like it does a good job picking up, but it still felt hella awkward to start where like the way it's Started where
Mhm.
it had kind of had to like because like you have a recap and then you have like a recap within the show again. Like
Yeah.
the armor is just standing there, pretty much saying the same line she said like in Book of Boba Fett. And I'm just like, this feels like so static and so awkward. I do not like that.
No. But I will say this about the beginning. They
Yeah.
do a hell of a job misleading you. Okay, spoilers. We're getting into
Spoilers. Oh yes,
spoilers
spoilers.
now. We're getting into spoilers now.
Yeah.
They do a hell of a job misleading you to think that kid is Din Djarin.
I agree. I was very confused for a minute. I was like, wait a sec. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like when you see that kid and he's getting the helmet, I'm like, oh, that's Din Djarin. And then
Exactly.
a giant crocodile attacks. Here's a question that I have.
Okay.
What is it with Favreau and Filoni and these season premieres with giant monsters?
I They think it's
They are
cool
just going.
action. I don't know. That's their thing apparently. But that's how we catch the audience attention with giant monsters. Yes, exactly.
It's 2 years now. It's 2 seasons in a row. Actually, no,
Exactly.
it's three
Three,
because of
technically.
Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like every
yeah.
project now. There's just a giant monster.
Every Star Wars project now has to open with a giant monster battle, no matter what your show is. Like Andor
Yeah.
season 2 better open with a giant
Oh
monster
my
battle
god.
now, with like Kino Loy like killing it.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, this giant monster attacks what is a helmeting ceremony to induct a new member into the Watch, and Mando and Grogu swoop in on their new souped up N1 Naboo starfighter to save the day. Which I do have to say, before they show up, there's one shot I absolutely love in this, and that's like after they drop the bombs on the monster, you see the one Mando fly up, and like you get the helmet down shot,
Mhm.
like watching them fly away from the monster. That was really cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, but yes, so we get them saving the day, and then the armor is pissed off that he shows up
Of course. She
because
pretty much
she's
exiled him in Book of Boba, so of course she'd be
yeah,
upset.
and then
Yeah.
like she's pretty much like, yeah, we had it under control, and Mando's like, really? Like,
Exactly.
um,
Classic.
so we get a refresher of what has to happen this season. We have to have essentially Mando has to take a bath
Yeah, pretty much.
in the with that though. I just think of, and I'm sorry about this,
Oh
but
god.
like when she says you need to purify yourself in the living waters under the mines of Mandalore. I'm thinking to myself of the Chappelle Show sketch where he's Prince and he says, why don't you cool yourself in the purifying waters of Lake Minnetonka?" Like,
Oh no.
why don't you purify yourself in the purifying waters of Lake Minnetonka? Anyway, so essentially, Mando has to take a bath,
Yeah.
um, and he and Grogu go on this quest to pretty much build a team so that they can go to Mandalore and complete their quest.
Mhm.
This brings us to Navarro, but before we get to Navarro, Rebels fans ate good in this
Yes,
episode.
we did. Yes, we did. Yeah.
Yes, indeedy. Uh, yeah, yep. My wife just said it. Pergils. That's all I'm
Yep,
gonna
yep.
say. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was such a great scene.
it does.
Yeah, because like you see him going through hyperspace, and then you just see the Pergils in the background, and like Grogu just stares, and I really feel like he felt a connection in the Force with
Oh,
those
definitely.
Pergils.
Definitely, yeah.
Um, My wife said that she thinks that he might have been scared by them, but I don't think he was. I think he was
No.
more comforted
Yeah.
by them. Because that's why like he just casually just jumps in Din's lap to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Um, but it was so cool to see all those Purgils.
Yes.
And now people are photoshopping that scene with like Ezra and Thrawn riding on the one Purgill.
Yes. Oh my god,
And
yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Ezra Bridger would ride a Purgill.
I mean, he pretty much has already in a way,
Yeah,
so yeah,
exactly. But
exactly.
no, he would like throw a saddle on it and he'd be like, hop on, Thrawn, let's go.
Oh god. Yes.
Um, so, and I think that is a great, not only Easter egg, but I think it's a great um, way to backdoor pilot more of the Ahsoka show
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
because, like, you know, like to me, this foreshadowed, oh, we're getting closer to Ezra and we're getting closer to
Yeah.
Thrawn now,
Yeah.
which I'd be so happy if they showed up at the end of this season.
I mean,
uh,
it's highly likely. Like I said this on Twitter last week. I'm like, people need to remember that they literally said in multiple interviews that this show is like that, like Book of Boba and Ahsoka are like Mandalorian tie-in shows pretty much is what they said.
mhm,
And like it's they've made very clear, I feel like, that Mando is like the big project through line, and then they get a little spur off their little shows. So I would not
yeah,
be I would definitely expect that they would show up at some point, probably toward the end. Yeah.
yeah.
Prob-
And that leads us to Navarro, and we meet a rejuvenated Grief Karga.
I mean, he's always happy to see them. Like, let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
he's doing well for himself, and Navarro's
Mhm.
doing very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get a meeting between Grief Karga and Mando, in which that's where we get the classic Grogu spinning in the chair scene, which is
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then we run into some space pirates,
Mhm.
not led by Hondo Onaka, which I thought
No.
was a huge missed opportunity.
Oh gosh. Uh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought it was a huge missed opportunity because I think like it would have been funny to have Hondo there. Like
Mhm.
I'd love to see Hondo and Grief interact. I think it would be so funny.
Mhm.
Um
Yeah, I thought like all the stuff on Navarro was super interesting. Mostly, like you said, like Navarro's doing really well, and I think Navarro in that state is like an example of kind of like the show playing on the ideas of potentially rebuilding like a society or a clan or rebirth and regrowth. And then this scene in particular focuses more on that aspect of change and how will we adapt to change, how are we reacting to change, and
mhm.
kind of interpreting. I just like I liked picking up on all these like little like through lines of the little like thematic things they're kind of playing with between where the Mandalorian people are gonna go. So I like that about this scene.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Because I think you hit the nail on the head. Like it really foreshadows where we're gonna go with the Mandalorians
Yeah.
themselves.
Yes.
And Grief Karga is going to be a huge catalyst moving forward with that.
Yes.
Because I'm going to make the prediction right here. He's going to help run the Mandalorian government.
Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna have a say in this. Like he's
Yeah,
definitely yeah.
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 Um, but that also brings us to another thing where we are getting, we're starting to see this quest unfold, and
Mhm.
we have Din Djarin saying like he needs IG-11
Yeah.
to be rebuilt so that he and IG can go to Mandalore and find out if the planet's poisoned or not. And Grief Karga just keeps going, well, I can get you droids to like go to the planet. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And Mando says, "Well, I only trust this one droid."
Well,
Uh,
not even just that, but he says like one particular where like he calls him a friend in particular.
yep.
So I feel like it's not even just like trust levels. It's like he just like he likes his buddy friends, which I love. He's like it's good for him for making
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah. And you know what? He's making more and more friends as this show
Yeah,
goes on. Yeah.
exactly.
So we have the showdown with the pirates, and they kill everyone but one, and they send him on
Mhm.
his merry way. And then we we go back, and Mando decides, "Hey, I'm gonna reboot IG-11," which was
Yeah,
a huge mistake
very much so. Yes.
because IG-11 reverts back to his old programming and ends up attacking Grogu.
Yep.
In which that scene had one of the funniest bits where he throws Grogu at Grief Karga.
Yes. Yeah. He's still not the most careful with Grogu, even though he's protective dad. He does some things.
Like even the face Grogu gives him is just like, why'd you do that?
Exactly.
It's like you idiot. Like,
Yeah.
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 And then we get IG-11 gets smashed by a bust of Grief Karga.
Yeah.
And so they
Oh.
decide to take IG-11 to the best droid smiths in the galaxy, and that leads us to another great bit. Allie, you want to talk about this one?
Sure. Yeah, no, I am all for the Grogu stuff. And I honestly like Din bless his
Hmm.
like heart for being so patient with people. Like I don't know how he does it. It's mostly funny because like he's like literally like begging. He's like, I don't know how to communicate. And then like they start very clearly easily communicating, and then Grief Karga's still like saying this, saying this, saying this, and then it's just like, I get it, man. I get it, man. Like I know what they're saying. So it's just really yeah, and then obviously the Grogu stuff, cute as
Yeah.
heck as always. Yes.
So that bit where Grief Karga keeps bending down to translate
Yeah.
like what they're saying is
Yeah.
so funny because
Yes.
like even Dinjarin's like you could just tell like Din was just getting fed up. Like, oh, you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
And then of course we have to talk about Grogu picking up Babu Frick and trying to treat him
Exactly.
like a pet.
Yes. He got sick
Bad
of people
baby.
picking him up. He's like, I'll pick you up this time.
Yeah. Bad baby, no squeeze.
Yes.
And then Dan, like any parent, is just like, I'm sorry, he's still
He's
learning.
young. Yeah.
Um, so now we have a side quest to go on in which they need to get the proper processing parts for IG-11 so that they can rebuild him so that they can go to Mandalore. And okay, before we get to the Bo-Katan thing,
Mhm.
I have to say here, I'm really getting tired of this side quest stuff.
That's fair. I can definitely understand that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I get it, like you need to get the components and stuff, but at the same
Mhm.
time I'm just like, dude, just ask him for other droids. Like
Yeah. 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 Especially because like, it's like, did you need to do it? Like, I get it. Like I said, like, friends are good, but at the same
Mhm.
time, it was a friendly sacrifice. That was a really powerful moment in season 1, so it's like, I
Yeah.
think you could have left it be, like,
Yeah, like
yeah.
I was thinking to myself when I saw the statue of IG-11, I thought to myself, this is the perfect tribute to the character.
Exactly, exactly.
Like he
Right.
deserves this.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, yeah, his sacrifice doesn't mean anything now because they're just
Mhm.
rebuilding him. And that to me is just kind of like what they did with the Book of Boba Fett and
Mhm.
with bringing Grogu back, because it feels like the finality to the season 2 story of Grogu going with Luke was just undone.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Um and that to me, like, I get it. Din and Grogu are kind of package deal now. Like
Yeah.
I get it.
Mhm.
However, I just really wanted them to put that on the back burner.
Yeah, something I've, like, noticed, it's like John wants to drag things out, but he's dragging the wrong things out in a way, if you get what
Mhm.
I mean? Like, where you have these, like, big overarching things, like you said, that get, like, really quickly resolved, and then you have, like,
Yep.
you fill the time with side quests instead, and that's how he's
Yeah.
filling the time and stretching it out, which I feel like you said, shouldn't be the primary focus. It should be, like, those bigger overarching, like, things
Mhm.
that happen that should be a bit more dragged out, so
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I totally agree. Let's get to the Bo-Katan thing, and then I want to double back to this whole thing about the overarching story and
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
So we have Grogu and Din Djarin leave Navarro. They get attacked by pirates, which that whole dogfight is so much fun to watch.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
because they're like, "Where'd Mando go? Boom! Where'd Mando go? Boom!"
Yeah, even just the sounds. Oh my god, it's the sounds of childhood. I love it so much. Yes.
Yes, it was so much fun.
Yes.
Um, and then of course they escape from the pirates,
Of
and
course.
then they head to they head to the planet where Bo-Katan has her castle. And I gotta tell you, like, it was cool to see.
Yeah,
In which I guess we're all gonna sit like her now.
apparently. Like, yes. Oh god, yeah, they love eating up the throne poses lately, like, they're really going for it lately. Love it for them. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, like, I feel like this scene could have just been cut out of this episode.
Mm, mhm.
Because, like, you get her and Din talking, and, like, Din considers her a friend, or at least an ally.
Yeah, I'd lean more towards that than Fred. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, like, he just kind of just and then she's just like, yeah, she's just so pissed off at him.
I know you said we would, like, go back to the side quest thing, but one thing I will
Mhm.
say about that is it not only felt like it could have happened somewhere else, where because I feel like there's still good stuff in there that I could probably dissect either here or on my podcast, but, like,
Mhm.
in terms of, like, like, abruptness of it, it just felt, like, abrupt because it was kinda like, "Oh, we're focused on the IG stuff," and then so, like, it's like, "Oh, no, we're suddenly here with Bo-Katan talking about recruiting people," and that just felt like weird because I'm like, that wasn't the quest that you were focused on at that moment. I
Mhm.
thought like it felt like that was a quest that should like come like later or even just like in another episode because it's like it
Yeah.
felt. I was shocked. I'm like, why are we here? Does Bo-Katan have droid parts? Like that was my first thought. I'm like, why are we here? Like, what is going on? And like you said, like it, I feel like maybe they're like, oh, we need Bo-Katan and cool stuff at the end because it's the premiere, but like it just felt abrupt and weird and out of place to me, so I agree with that.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like it should have been, like, in a different episode.
Exactly, exactly.
Like a post, like it should have been, like, in an additional episode in season 2 or something, like, if you were gonna do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it just did not make sense at all. Like, it just felt like, Let's do the post credits thing before we even get to the credits."
Yeah. Yeah, and especially because like, you even have Bo-Katan recapping stuff, like, which happens with Din too. Okay, when he pulled I might be wrong, but when he pulled that stupid, like, blast, whatever, I was like, "Did I miss an episode of Book of Boba Fett? Like, did I forget something from Book of Boba Fett?" I was going insane, like, thinking that I forgot something. Maybe I did, but, like, even if I did forget the when he got that stupid
Mhm.
piece of whatever, like, it's just, like, stuff like that. It's, like, all this, like, off camera or such quick things or just,
Mhm.
just stuff could have been stretched out, and that's what I'm saying. Like there's
Yeah.
so many things he could have used to stretch it out, but he's instead going back and forth between like 5 different side quests in a way
Mhm.
that is confusing us, and it's
Yeah.
I don't
I
know, it's weird.
remember that they were gonna do the Mandalorian novel?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I have a feeling like the piece of glass from Mandalore probably tied into that novel.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
Probably.
because
Yeah.
I bet they were like, well, since we can't do this, we have to still introduce it.
Yeah.
But but you should have at least seen him like encounter the guy that had the
Exactly!
glass.
Like oh
Yeah,
gosh, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I want to get to this overall story arc for
Yeah.
the season, which is the taking of Mandalore.
Mhm,
And I shared these thoughts in my spoiler review of this, like my audio review, and I
mhm.
have to say, like, this is such an important story
Yes.
that I I want them to stick the landing so bad for this story.
Mhm,
And honestly, I really wish Grogu would just take a back seat this season so that way we could focus on this story.
mhm.
Like, I
Yeah.
get it. Like, you wanna teach Grogu how to be a Mandalorian, and I love that he's doing that,
Yeah.
but yes, he has to make a man out of Grogu. Um, but 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 the thing is that they're really, like they're pushing Grogu too much, and
Yeah.
they're not pushing this story enough, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, I listened to your, like, thing, and I was like,
Mhm.
"This sounds like verbatim what I said all throughout my season 2 podcast episodes." Like, I swear we had that conversation, like, at least 3 times during those episodes because I agree. Because like, even in season 2, a lot of those storylines were around the Grogu Jedi stuff, and it's like, that
Mhm.
stuff's cool, and I love like, Grogu's great, but like you said, the story of Din's story and Din's part and the Mandalorian's part of this show is just as if not more important.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
And and if you are pretty much making this the spiritual sequel to Rebels, you have a legacy to capitalize here.
Yeah.
And you have I mean, because let's face it, Rebels is a freaking masterpiece of storytelling.
Yes. Yes. Rebels Remembrance tomorrow. Woo! Yeah.
Yes, yes, Rebels Remembrance tomorrow or
Yes.
Remembered tomorrow. But
Yeah.
the thing is that a good chunk of Rebels deals with the taking back of Mandalore,
Yes. Yes.
which is why we're introduced to as many Mandalorians as we are in Rebels.
Mhm.
I see what they're trying to do here, but I really feel like I don't want to say like John Favreau is going to try to Iron Man to this, but I feel
Oh
like
god.
John Favreau is going to try to Iron Man to this.
Oh god. Yeah.
You know, by just like
Yeah.
cramming everything in there to try to set up the next big thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
like it keeps going. It's like set up, set up, set up, and then we keep getting that same like Grogu gets captured. Sorry. I'm still salty over that whole thing. No. Uh, and it's also like you said with Rebels. Like Rebels is not only great storytelling, but they masterfully are able to weave so many different storylines
Mhm,
like effectively where you still get to spend so much time with each character where like
mhm,
even though the Mandalorian thing was a big thing like Sabine stuff was a big thing in season 3 we still got tons of other kinds of episodes throughout season 3
mhm.
so one would hope that this show would be able to find that same balance, but I have not noticed it yet. That has been an issue. Yeah.
Yeah, I I I mean, now granted, this season is still very, very young,
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we've had 2 previous seasons, actually 2.5 previous seasons
Pretty
because
much.
remember, Book of Boba Fett is 2.5.
Yeah.
Um, and that's another thing, like, if you were gonna set up the whole Mando season 3 story in Book of Boba Fett, you should have done it better instead of just being like, "Well, here's Din Djarin getting his new starfighter,
Yeah.
and here's Grogu coming back." Like,
Yeah.
okay, like, that's how we're setting up season 3? Like
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Especially
So
because
I
like, I know there are people who honestly didn't watch Book of Boba Fett. who were
Mhm.
confused. Like people I talked to who
Yeah.
were confused, and I was like, because like they recap some of the stuff, but they don't recap the
Mhm.
ship thing. They were like, "Wait, he has a new ship now." I'm like, "Yeah, he has a new ship now." Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry you didn't know that.
Yeah. Or, like, people are like, "How is Grogu back with the Mando?" And I'm like, "You need to
Exactly.
watch Book of Boba Fett."
Mhm.
And I think it's really funny, like, uh, Cam Ray from Cam Ray Semi Productions, like, he hit the nail on the head with his parody this week, where he's like, "I shouldn't have to read an entire book of Boba Fett to find out why Grogu's back." Like,
Exactly. Oh god, yeah.
but, like, he's like, "I don't have time to read this."
Yeah. Yeah.
Just give it to me. But
Yeah.
that's another thing, though, like, if you're going to try to resolve these setups, you've gotta make it accessible for the viewer, and they really didn't make it accessible for the casual viewer of Star Wars.
Well, that's, like, what I'm seeing as, like, the issue
Yeah.
with these things, because, like I said, they're called, like, Mandalorian spinoffs or connectors or whatever terminology you wanna use, is w if this is the case, this same kind of thing is
Mhm.
gonna happen with the Ahsoka show, I'm assuming, where you're
Yeah.
gonna have, like, Mandalorian storylines within that show as well, which is fine, like you said,
Mhm.
Sabine's a Mandalorian, it'll make sense, but,
Yeah.
like you said, if people choose not to watch these shows, but you have this big, giant Mandalorian, everyone's obsessed with it, then those more casual fans who just wanna watch Mando, they're gonna
Mhm.
get real lost real quick, so yeah.
That and my wife actually just brought up a great point too. Purgils, the people that didn't watch Rebels are gonna be freaking lost.
Yeah. Yeah. They probably just thought, "Ooh, Grogu looking at some cool creature in space," like, no, no.
They serve a higher purpose, sir and or madam
Yeah,
or and or person.
yes.
So I want to get to another thing that they addressed in this episode, which
Mhm.
I'm 50-50 about because of how they addressed it. And that is we have to address this character being missing
I guess
because
we have to do that.
yeah, because people have been asking like where this person is.
Because they're chronically offline, apparently.
Yes, they're chronically offline.
Yeah.
Um so we found out about Cara Dune,
Yeah.
and which I got to tell you, this was a simple way of writing her out of the show,
Yeah.
by saying
Yeah.
that she was recruited by New Republic Special Forces.
I mean, yeah, and it made sense. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't watched the finale of season 2 in a while, but I feel like she probably said something like that. Like Moff when she grabs Moff Gideon, she's probably like, "You're gonna get me a better job." So like, it makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Well,
Um,
yeah, because no, it's when she gets the marshal badge, and then Carson Teva and her are talking,
mm,
and
true. Yeah.
then like I'm thinking that he probably recruited her to like New
Oh
Republic
yeah.
Special Forces.
Mhm.
Um, this closes the door on the character, but also leaves it open for recasting.
Mm. With how simple they and quickly they did it, I honestly don't think they're aiming to recast, but like you
No,
said, it could happen, but with how quick it was, I don't think that's on their mind at the moment.
no, and I'm okay with that. Like
Yeah.
seriously,
Yeah.
I'm okay with not seeing her character ever again.
Yeah.
Um, because and I get it. Like they were trying to base Rangers of the New Republic around her and everything, but you've got Carson Teva there. You can base Rangers of the New Republic around him.
Mhm.
You can even throw in Hera Syndulla for Rangers of the New Republic.
Exactly.
Sabine can be in Rangers of the New Republic.
Yes, let's go.
Ezra can be in Rangers of the New Republic. So
Yeah.
you have all of these characters that you can rebuild that series with those
Mhm.
characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like it was kind of a thing like, well, we have to address this, but let's address it as like a throwaway line at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, but there were a lot of neckbeards pissed off about that line.
Of course there were. No matter how they did it, there were gonna be people out there who were like, "Wah!" So,
Oh yeah,
whatever.
yeah. But all in all, I enjoy this episode. I think it's fun.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I obviously, like we talked about, like there's certain things that felt strange, and I feel like
Mhm,
there's certain ways that pacing or whatever could have with the show overall, not even just with this episode, but like could have been
mhm,
worked on. But for what the show provided in this episode, I agree it was really fun and really
mhm.
there is a lot of interesting stuff because I'm obsessed with Mandalorians. Like even the little bits we got that I thought find really interesting, and I'm excited to see what they do in the future.
Yeah. So I want to ask you this other question here. Since we're talking about the show overall right now, do
Mhm.
you feel that this show has suffers an identity crisis?
I don't think it did originally. I think like more like recently, yeah.
Hmm.
I think a big part of that is the result of they saw the popularity and the attention and everything it was, and it felt like a secure thing for them. And so
Hmm.
in the sense where they start making these sub shows and they start relying on it as much as they do. And I feel like that's like always going to be an issue if like a Star Wars or Marvel or whatever starts to rely too much on something, it's obviously going to get lost. And I think like
Hmm.
maybe part of it is like the fact that and part of that is also because since it's this big project that's going to develop sub shows and I maybe John just wants to drag it out like because he likes who knows, but I think a big reason for that is so we can keep developing sub shows and keep the safety net of the Mandalorian, which draws in like our most viewership or whatever. So I feel
Hmm.
like it's got it like a little bit lost in the fray in the sense that it's become more of this we're gonna drag it out and drag it out and drag it out and like spur off little projects and like you said it gets people lost like it's like are we watching Book of Boba Fett or Ahsoka or like a Rebel
Hmm.
sequel or is this about Din or is it about Grogu? So yeah, I think
Hmm.
it goes a little all over the place. It, like from
Hmm.
season 1 to this, we've definitely gone more towards that area because it seems to not know what it wants to do except for have cute baby Yoda moments, which in terms of consistency, it's doing other things, but like
Yeah.
the one constant is always the cute baby Yoda moments. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I which hate it sucks. Like I love a lot about this show. I'm not trying to crap on it, but like
Hmm.
I think there are ways that it could be handled better and still be
Hmm.
like a giant project for them to use. I just think
Hmm.
there's ways it could be handled more effectively.
No, I totally agree, and that's why I asked the question because
Yeah.
I wanted to see how you felt about it. Because honestly, I just feel that it's like I just feel like there's no end game here. Like we're not
Exactly.
setting up an end game.
Yeah.
And 3 seasons into the show, we should start to kind of see what the finale is going to look like.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I'm sorry, but if How I Met Your Mother can set up the ending in the first season,
Uh,
which I get it, I get it. I'm not a fan of the ending of How I Met Your Mother either, but my thing is they knew where they wanted to end with that show and they
Mhm.
made it to the end of that show.
Mhm.
This, it's like, oh, well, now he's a bounty hunter and now he finds this kid, so we're going to make him more human now. And now his quest
Mhm.
is he needs to send this kid to the Jedi, and that's going to make him even more human because he's going to deal with the grief of not having the kid with him anymore. Oh, and
Mhm.
now we get this spin-off that's going to be like this really cool look at the crime underworld, but then we're going to completely 180 and focus on Din Djarin again
Mhm.
and his relationship with Grogu, and now we're back to, oh well, he can be ruthless sometimes, but he's still the dad, and
Mhm.
now we need to focus on Mandalore, but well,
Mhm.
we kind of won't focus on Mandalore because we've got all these other side quests going on, and
Uh-huh.
it's just annoying.
Yeah. 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 I agree. And that is an issue of not having an end plan in place. I mean, he literally verbatim said that last week. Like, he's like, I don't have an ending in place. And I'm like, okay. And my only defense of that was knowing that he wants to spur all these like sub shows off of it and like keep it going, which it like I said, there's a way you can do that while more
Mhm,
effectively handling this, where you
mhm,
can like still have, you don't need to have like a concrete ending, but like you said, even in terms of like, let's consider how we want to reshape Mandalore or how the
mhm,
Mandalorian's going to move forward. It doesn't need to be concrete or 100% like who's going to have the dark saber, who's going to lead, like et cetera, but like to have some kind of idea of where those stories are going, which I
mhm.
don't think they have right now. I think they're just, it's kind of like, let's throw all these things out here and see where they could lead, which it's
Yeah.
not doing too well right now. Yeah.
No, I think I don't want to be part of this discourse between
Yeah.
which show is better between Andor and The
Exactly.
Mandalorian, but I
Yeah.
will say this, Andor has set this up perfectly where it's like, hey, this is
Mhm.
what this first season is, this is what the second season is, and guess what? The series finale is the beginning of Rogue One.
Mhm.
Like they've set it up for that. And to me that's perfect. Another show that has had like multiple spin-offs and stuff, like if you look at the Law and Order franchise, like that's
Mhm.
been on for 30 plus years,
Yeah.
multiple spin-offs, but each spin-off outside of Special Victims Unit, which continues to, I don't know how that show has stayed on the air for as long as it has, but the other spin-offs had clear beginnings and clear endings.
Mhm.
This show just has no clear ending, and I get it. Favreau
Mhm.
wants to give the fans as many Star Wars stories as possible, like you
Mhm.
said, but come on, man. Just just set it up.
And I think like an issue of that is the way it's changed, because I feel like at least the vibes I got from season 1 compared to the last 2 seasons, I felt in season 1 there was a lot more of a feel of that. Not saying it's, I don't, not comparing it to Andor, but like more of the feel of
Mhm.
it had a more condensed, focused like path it was going along,
Yeah.
whereas like once we hit season 2 it was like more like we're going all over the place and doing
Mhm.
like 50 different things.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate. I think that's a reason why it's so hard for some people, is because
Mhm.
they thought that was the kind of show this was, and it's clearly not anymore. And I think that's hard for people to accept. And like, it's hard for
Yeah.
me to accept too, in a way, because like, I love
Mhm.
Mandalorians. I don't want them to like screw up like Mandalorian lore and everything with like not knowing what
Exactly.
they're gonna do, but like I it's hard because I want to see Mandalorian stuff, but I'm worried because they, I don't know what they're
Mhm.
doing, and it makes me nervous for like even the Ahsoka show too. I'm
Yeah.
nervous.
No, I
Yeah,
am too. And we as consumers and also as podcasters
yeah,
have every right to be nervous about this.
yeah,
And we're not bashing the show. We're just
yeah. It's out of love.
giving,
It's out of
yeah,
love.
it's out of love for this franchise. It's out of love for these characters, and it's
Mhm,
out of love for these creators. Honestly, I mean,
exactly.
Filoni and Favreau have revitalized this franchise,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
in a great way,
Yeah.
and they've brought in a lot of amazing creative people for a lot of these spin-off shows and everything.
Mhm.
Like you couldn't have done Obi-Wan without Deborah Chow.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 And like I love that Rick Famuyiwa directed this episode of The Mandalorian. He's an amazing director.
Mhm.
But when it comes down to it, we at the end of the day, we're still going to watch it because we love these characters, we love these situations,
Yeah.
but it's okay to be critical of this.
Yeah. Because
And
we want to see it
honest,
succeed. We want to
yeah.
see it succeed, have good stories, do good by,
Mhm.
well, by its good by its characters, like,
Yeah.
and like you said, like the creatives have done great things for Star Wars. We know they're capable of great things, and like we just want to like, we want what's best for them in the show, and it's
Yeah.
hard when we see some things that are a little bit concerning, and
Mhm.
it's hard. It's hard.
And I think at the end of the day, like a lot of people will criticize us for being like Disney shills or Lucasfilm shills
Probably
or
like
whatever.
whatever.
Um, but at the end of the day, I think like when it comes to us reviewing stuff, these
Mm.
companies would rather have honest reviews than the people that are just
Hating. It's just being like,
they're just hating, or they think everything they do is
mhm.
perfect.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying like exactly. It's not like we're saying the show should end or not exist or not keep going. We're not saying that. We're just saying it can keep going, but we'd like to see it go in a way that is like,
Hmm.
effective. So,
Yeah, exactly. Um, we're gonna cut it a little bit short. We're not gonna do the full 2 hours tonight because I also know that you have some other stuff going on as well. But any other final thoughts before we go into week 2 of The Mandalorian?
um I I am interested to see where we're going next because, like I said, I felt that ending was weird, and it's like
Hmm.
it's also weird because like you travel to like the Mandalorian system, and now where are we gonna go? We're gonna find parts in the Mandalorian system. We're gonna completely leave Mandalorian system again and go somewhere. Like, eh, I'm interested to see where it goes next.
Hmm.
With all these like little sub quests,
Hmm.
I, I'm interested to see how much the Ahsoka show and everything else gets woven in terms of
Hmm.
like because Sabine is again Sabine is a Mandalorian, and that's why I always thought
Hmm.
those shows could weave in to
Hmm.
themselves. I'm interested to see. I think I'm just desperate to see Sabine, honestly. Um, yeah, but I'm just interested to see like where they go with it. Like I
Yeah.
said, all the constructive stuff is because I'm interested. I want to see.
Hmm.
I'm interested. Um, and I would urge people eventually I will do it, but I will urge people I will be doing a more in-depth breakdown of the Bo-Katan scene and that some other stuff in my podcast definitely because like there are a lot of thoughts I have as a
Yeah.
Mandalorian fan.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have one more question for you since we're talking about setting up the Ahsoka show and setting
Mhm.
up these spin-offs. Do we get a backdoor pilot for Skeleton Crew this season? Because they've said it's in the same universe or
Then
it's in the
probably we
same
will.
timeline. Yeah.
Yeah, they've said that. Probably.
Hmm. I think that that would be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So that is going to be it for us. I hope that you all had a wonderful time. Allie, once again, thank you for joining me. As always, I
Thank you
love
for
having
having
you
me.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
And we'll talk some more because I kind of want to have you around for the mid season as well as the end of season. That way we can like really break down this season
Yeah,
as we go through it.
definitely.
But that's it for us this week. We will see you next week. I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend, have a wonderful week, and as always, may the force be with you. May you always fight for light in life. And remember, at the end of the day, we are all the Republic. Until next time, we will see you later. Bye.
Bye.